When you came, if you'd have come here in 2002, you'd have been walking at the top of the stairs. That's the level that you would have been walking at. So everything from the top of the stairs downwards, we've had to dig out.
Oh, right.
So you can see now what I mean, how much work, you know, it's actually been done. This is actually collapsed, this particular, you see where the archway's been here.
Yeah.
This particular arch has collapsed.
Yeah.
So this is really, we call this the corner tunnel, and this goes out towards the police station over the road.
Yeah.
That's the direction. We don't think there's any connection because it was built in the 70s and there were houses there beforehand, so we don't think it's anything to do with the police station or anything like that. But that's the direction that tunnel goes into. Now, any idea what this is running through here? This, it's not a road.
A rail? No.
Yeah, this is
is
the
it
railway. Yeah, it's the Manchester to Liverpool Railway. And this is the famous Edge Hill cutting here. So the tunnels were here before the railway, and then the railway's cut straight through. So this is the famous Edge Hill cutting. And if you're on the train going through to Manchester, if you're very quick, you can see it. You've got to be very quick to see it, but you can, and it's cut straight through. Now, as to why the tunnels were built, there's a number of reasons. Williamson was born in 1769. Now, in the exhibition area, it says he was born in Warrington. Actually born in Yorkshire, a place called Darton near Wakefield, which we've just discovered. And they moved to Warrington when he was 11. And they had friends called the Tates. They were all glassmakers, the families, both families were glassmakers. And of course, Warrington St Helens has a big connection with the glassmaking industry still. And they decided to move to Warrington. But the Tates decided to open up a tobacco and snuff merchants down by the Albert Dock. And Williamson, aged 11, was sent to work for them, which was the norm in those days. Anything from kind of 8 upwards, you were out to work. So he went to work for the tobacco and snuff merchants, and he amassed a huge fortune while he was working for them. In fact, he was ready to retire when he was about 33, which is very good. He also set up another business alongside called Lee and Williamson. It was kind of a snuff factory going at the same time as the tobacco and snuff merchants. And he was basically looking for other business opportunities. Edge Hill, where we are now, of course, it was just a little village on the outskirts of Liverpool. Liverpool's getting very dirty and cramped and smelly, and the wealthy were looking for houses and gardens, bigger houses and gardens. So he decided to buy some land here. The problem he had was the estate that he bought, which was the estate of Edward Mason. It was disused quarry. Now, if you look here, you can actually see the signs of the quarry.
Oh, yeah.
So the problem he had was, how was he going to build his houses over the sides of an open quarry? And what he decided to do was to literally put a roof on, or an arch, and then build above. So this is Mason Street above here. And he's literally put his arch, or formed his tunnels, and built above. He's just put earth, built his houses and his gardens above here.
This wall, the way it looks as though it's been ground out by a machine to get it like that.
This has actually been a working quarry. Before, Williamson even started taking any stone out of it, it was a working quarry. So you can see that this is the actual water gully that was here.
The water gully?
Yeah, that was when it was a working quarry, of course. Once he put the roof over the top, there was no use for it. And it was, of course, sandstone quarry. So that's one of the main reasons. The other reason we're pretty sure of, or we do know for sure, there was a big problem with unemployment due to the Napoleonic Wars. Soldiers were coming back from the Napoleonic Wars, and if you were wealthy, you were expected to, help the poor either by giving money or jobs. And he said, no, I'm not going to just give handouts, I'll give them work. He did have a fascination with tunnels. He was a bit eccentric. And that was, so he kind of got both things done at once. He gave them a job, and he also had his tunnels built at the same time. So he was a philanthropist, basically. So they're the two main reasons why the tunnels were built. So he could build his houses above and rent them out, and also to give men work. there's no real reason for some of the tunnels. For example, this one, this is, as I say, a double tunnel, or even triple decker tunnels. So it's literally been to keep either men employed and to keep, to fulfil his fascination with them.
Wow.
We'll see, there is a triple decker tunnel further on that we'll see. There's a couple of other theories. Some people think he was using them to smuggle because of the nature of his business, with it being tobacco and snuff. That maybe he was storing contraband down there. Yeah, but we've kind of discounted that because he was quite a religious man. He initially used to worship up at St Mary's at the top of the road. When he married, he worshipped at St Thomas's, which is down by John Lewis in Liverpool. And he's actually buried there. He's buried in the Tate family crypt. So, there is quite a connection with religion. So they're the main reasons why the tunnels were built. Now, if you look here, can you see this little gap? It's actually a cellar of one of his houses on Mason Street.
Cellar?
It's the basement or cellar of one of his houses.
Oh, right.
And you can see the other side of it as we go through, which I'll point out to you. So we carry on a little bit further. Niches because of these. Can you see these little niches on either side?
Yeah.
Have you any idea what they were used for?
Little vents.
There are ventilation shafts. These are actually how the arches were formed. They put a wooden beam from side to side, and then a wooden arch, and then a brick arch above to form the brick arch. You would have started at the far end and just filled the holes in as they went along.
So these roofs, have they been pointed, with cement, or are they the original?
These are the original.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is how he's formed the brick arches. He would put a wooden beam across from side to side, then a wooden arch, and then built his brick arch.
And built it, yeah.
Now these larger niches here behind, he's had the crew full of lifting gear down there. This is where he's had the A-frame of a crane here. And that's where the base of the crane's been on that ledge down there. Can you see that ledge?
Yeah.
The platform of the crane has been there, and the A-frame there.
So that's a solid block of rock?
Yeah. This is actually, the bottom of the quarry here. Yeah. So this is a fallen arch. This arch would have linked up with that little entrance down there.
Yeah.
So all this is a fallen arch. But we've left it like this so you can see the type of solid mass that we dig through.
Really?
And the digging teams go in mainly of a weekend, and they're also responsible for all the maintenance in here.
Are they still doing it digging out?
Yes, yeah, we're working on this one at the moment.
I know. What is it, 14th to
the 6th of May.
6th of May.
It's on the television. You'll be able to film the inside there, so you'll be able to see.
Is that why you're only open from Tuesday to Sunday, like work gets carried on in the off days?
Yeah, I mean, they do work occasionally when the public aren't in here, but it's just because it's winter hours that there isn't enough demand as well in the winter,
Yeah.
So, but it does get very busy as well. But this is the type of solid mass that we dig through
That's
here.
underneath there.
Anything that we don't use, that we don't want any spoil, has gone on the university landscaping.
Yeah.
So nothing's gone to waste.
Did you find anything?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
tools and all that?
Oh yes, yeah. Anything of any interest, any artefacts we keep, and somebody goes through it and sorts it out.
Have you got any on show here?
Yes, you'll see it at the end. There is a display. Yeah. Now, if you look over here, and you see this is the actual bedrock corridor here. This is the bottom of the corridor. This is just rainwater because, of course, there used to be a house above here.
Yeah.
Because the house has been demolished, it just seeps through now, and it's just rainwater that's seeping through. There is still the facade of one of his houses up on Mason Street that you can see, but that's all that's left of all his houses. Most of them were demolished in the 30s, which of course you wouldn't be allowed to do now. But they have preserved one. And there is another entrance there, but you can only go into it by appointment. You used to have to crawl along the ledge. But there is kind of a basement there that you can go into.
These bricks, well, these are not bricks, these are like...
These are sandstone blocks.
Sandstone,
Yeah. Now these would have been quarried from here.
Yeah.
And this is what he would have used to build his houses, these sandstone blocks. You'll notice the difference between the handmade bricks and the sandstone.
You can see a clear difference.
We also know he donated quite a lot of these sandstone blocks to build a church on the site of the Royal Hospital.
Right.
It's called St Jude's. Of course, it's been demolished now. We know from records he indeed donated sandstone for that.
It was soft sea sandstone, you could saw through it.
That's right, yeah. It hasn't been used to build the cathedral. That's come from a quarry in Walton. A lot of people think they may have used stone from here, but we've been told that's from a quarry in Walton. Now, any idea what this is here?
A lift. For a lift fella.
It's actually a rubbish chute.
Is it?
Yeah.
Rubbish
And
chute.
what happened was, of course, there were houses right the way along here on Mason Street. People were going into the basements and forming these shafts to throw their rubbish down. Because, of course, you couldn't just go to the dump in those days. So you had to dispose of your rubbish somehow. And, of course, they knew the tunnels were down here and they were just throwing their rubbish down here. We know there was a confectionery factory above here at one time because we found all the jam jars in the cellar above and in this area, hundreds and hundreds of jam jars. And they were called the Duffs. Yeah. And they were buying their jam from Hartley's, of course, which isn't far away. So they've all got the Hartley's stamp on the jam jars. And you'll see some of them at the end as we go through. And they were all found in this area. So yes, the confectionery factory was above here. Before that, it would have been a house. So. Now, if you just watch this selfie from here, it's not very well.
There's two books there, isn't there? Books down there.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, look in the corner.
Is it not?
It's two, yeah. Chilling out.
So you see this little chap here? Yeah, of course, he's a mole. And that was Williamson's famous nickname. He was known as the Mole of Edgehill because of the digging connection. He was also known as the King of Edgehill because of his wealth and his influence in the area. But most people know him as the Mole of Edgehill. And you'll see these little models as we go through. They're mainly for children who are too young to understand the story. They count them as they go through.
Do you see with the drill now, they have a big thing with teeth on them called Walt's Massive.
Yeah.
And they just grind.
That's right. They couldn't do that in those days, where they're still not allowed to use mechanical instruments down here. It's all done by hand.
They've done a good job when they cut these blocks in certain
It's very neat,
sizes.
isn't
Soft,
it?
they were soft, like sandstone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see a few of these little chaps as we go through. Okay. Tunnel for obvious reasons, because of the shape. And this is the other side of the cellar here. Can you see the gap above here?
On the side.
That's the other side of the cellar that we saw from, from there. Now,
there's another mole.
One of our little friends building the wall. Now, this is another rubbish chute here. Can you see this?
Oh, wow.
This shaft here. But can you see the white insulation above?
Oh,
you need to come a little bit further forward to be able to see it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's actually the student accommodation that's now on Mason Street above here.
Oh,
so when they've knocked the houses down, eventually they've built some students' accommodation. And we've heard them. We've heard their voices and their radios and their tellies. And if they've heard us, we'd probably frighten the life out of them. They probably think it's haunted.
Yeah.
And that's another question we get asked all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Are they haunted? And the truth is, we don't know for sure. We've had a lot of famous psychics down here, and people hire them out for paranormal evenings. They bring all the equipment down. And, I've only ever heard of one of the guides ever seen anything. They reckon they had an extra person on the tools, and they'd gone by the time we got to the end. And she wasn't the type who'd make it up either, you know. And there would have been accidents and people killed down here because there were so many people employed over the years.
Right.
But because he was so secretive, he never left any records as to exactly how many people were injured or anything. And say children would have been used, and we're pretty sure of that, which I'll tell you why in a moment. But that was the norm then.
Yeah,
You know, 8 upwards, you were up to work.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any cruelty involved because, you know, he was quite a kindly man.
Yeah.
And he used to pay his men according to how many children they had, which was very unusual.
Yeah.
You know, you certainly wouldn't get that these days.
No.
You know, and he didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, then, I don't think lots of people, he just got paid, didn't you? It wasn't really.
Yeah. So, this little entrance here, can you see this doorway? This is the entrance to another tunnel.
Wow.
Can you see the little
what's that?
screen above? Can you see the outline of a face?
Yeah.
That's meant to be Williamson's face.
You've got a moustache?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's part of an art exhibition we had down here.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it was...
We do a lot of art exhibitions in conjunction. What did you think it was?
Some sort of premonition or
A ghost.
Yeah. Like there's your proof there.
Yeah. We do get you know, a lot of artists exhibit down here a couple of times a year, and you'll see little bits of artwork that's left over, you know. But this was one we've kept, which is supposed to be his face. But I'll shine the torch down for you from another angle, so you can see just how small this tunnel is and where we think children have been working down there.
Right, okay.
You'd have to be pretty small, yeah. You'd have to be pretty small if you just want to stand there and
Let's see.
I'll let you want to have a look.
How far down does it go then?
They blocked it up, it went a lot further, but it's had to be blocked up.
Oh, that's right.
But it would have gone a lot further.
Yeah, so they would have had young kids
Yeah.
in it.
Can you see?
Oh wow. That is like my worst nightmare, that. Pure claustrophobia. Oh, can you get it right? Can you get
Where
it,
do you want it?
just a little bit in the middle? Just right. Oh,
Is that okay?
no, yeah, a bit to the right. Perfect, yeah.
Okay.
That is, oh my god. No, I'm getting scared here now. No, that's, yeah, I do get a bit claustrophobic. But that
I know,
is
I wouldn't fancy that.
just
Can you see?
so, like, just the, you know, you can't turn round. Anything where you can't turn round is
Yeah.
totally, like, freaks me out.
Not good, is it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, this particular tunnel, any idea what we call it? Thinking of...
The kebab tunnel?
That's it, yeah.
Is it?
Kebab tunnel, yeah.
Just joking.
I was going to say, they're going to give you a couple of clues saying Greeks and food.
Yes, I mean, look at it. It's a huge kebab.
We call this the kebab tunnel because, you know, the student accommodation we've just seen the insulation for?
Yeah.
In that shaft. When they were building the student accommodation, they put the ties down in the wrong place. And they've had to move them into more solid ground further in. But we've kept them like this so you can see close up what we're digging through. Yeah, but somebody's messed up, whoever's been the engineer or the architect, whoever, they've totally miscalculated and they put them down here by mistake.
And instead of going through the solid stuff.
Yeah, and they were pouring lorry loads of cement down here and it was going nowhere. You know, it was such a vast space. And we've had to dig all that out. There's been a lot of work in here. Can you see that little rubble, little load of rubble there? These bricks, little outcrop of bricks. That was the level of rubble that was in here. So everything from there downwards we've had to dig out.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of work in this particular area. This here has been an entrance just to bring building materials up and down. It's being blocked up now, but that's what that has been used for.
Wow.
Okay.
You can see the rods coming through here. Yeah, you can see the rods and where you've been putting all that concrete down.
That's right. and we had to dig it out. So they gave us a lot of work.
Take a photograph of me next to come back.
You are? It's package shit. Hey, cut us a slice.
I mean, this is a bit like me, the cat.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a very small selection of what we found. There's a lot more, you know, we're still finding and we're still going through. We can't put everything out, of course, you know, because there's too much. But these, I'll point out some things of interest to you. These little pots here, give me an idea what they were used for.
Isn't this what all got thrown down the chute? So
Yeah, what people have just thrown down,
over the
down
years,
here. Yeah, what happened was when the houses were above here, people were using them as rubbish, just to throw their rubbish. When he died in 1840, people were using them still to throw the rubbish down here. And eventually Liverpool City Council took the whole place over as the first refuse yard. So all the horses and carts for Liverpool used to go out of here. This was the first, really. Did you see the stables as you came in?
Yeah.
And where the new student flats are? That was a stable block there as well. So all the horses and carts, this was the very first Liverpool City Council refuse yard, used to go out of here. So it's come from three sources, the rubbish. And it was Liverpool City Council that eventually the stench got so bad because of people throwing the rubbish down here, they more or less filled them in. So where we came in, at the top of the stairs, they kind of paved over to stem the stench, really. Yeah. Now, these little pots here are inkwells. And a lot of them are damaged, but there used to be school suppliers above here at one time. And they were obviously throwing the rubbish down here, anything they didn't want. Because he was such a wealthy man, a lot of people wanted to be his friend. So what he did one night was he said, I'm going to invite them all to dinner, these people. And when they got there, he gave them a very simple meal, you know, a very basic meal. And a lot of them were disgusted and they got up and went. And he said, right, now I know who my true friends are. And he opened the door and there was a huge banquet laid out for the people who'd stayed.
I like that style.
Yeah, so he was quite shrewd, you know, considering...
Did you find any books about it? Any books?
Yeah, I mean, the problem was because he didn't leave any records. We're very reliant on local historians of the day reviewing. There are some official records, of course, as to who his tenants were and things like that. And there's a lot of newspaper articles as well that we've got information from. So, you know, there are a number of sources where the information's come from. So that's where it's mainly come from. But he was a real eccentric. He used to take his horse to church with him on a Sunday.
Did he?
He even had a pew built for it behind his own. He said he was, he probably gone a little bit of a nut these days. But, you know, for all that, he was quite a shrewd man. Now, these are some of the tools we found when we've been excavating. And you can see there's very little difference to what we use today.
Is this all slate here?
This is actually the bedrock of the quarry.
Oh, right. What's the
no, this is just, we had a grotto down here. And
oh, right,
they
okay.
were just using
wow.
it to secure the Christmas trees.
Oh, okay.
No, it's nothing to do with
oh,
that.
right, okay.
Yeah, it's just being put here by
it's like, well,
the maintenance people.
Okay.
But this is actually the bedrock of the quarry, all this.
Why are they so big as well?
It's like those up there.
What he's done is, he's built, can you see the sides of the quarry? He's actually built over the sides of the quarry, so the size of the tunnels is dictated by where the sides of the quarry are. Can you see the way he's built over the edges?
Ah, yeah.
So the size of the tunnels is dictated by where the sides of the quarry are. You can see here. So this is why this is such a big.
You think it's been made
Yeah.
transport to come
Well,
out?
This one, it looks very like a railway tunnel. It reminds me of. Yeah, and there is quite a link with the railways because Stevenson had been down here, and he was very impressed with the tunnels. And a lot of the men, when Williamson died in 1840, they went on to work on the railways and the Albert Dock, which hadn't been built then. So there is quite a link with the railways. And so, and they do very much remind you of railway tunnels, this particular one. But there's literally thousands and thousands of handmade bricks. We think these are all handmade.